Defense officials from Japan and Taiwan are reportedly taking part in tabletop wargames. Though few details have been confirmed, Taiwan's central news agency reported that the wargames had been scheduled to begin sometime in mid-July. The exercises will simulate how Taiwan, Japan, and the U.S. would react if Taiwan was blockaded by China's military. But despite contingency plans like this, polls suggest most people in Japan would be against the country getting directly involved in a conflict over Taiwan. For more on this, our reporter Jaime Ocon spoke to Eleanor Shiori Hughes, a security analyst with Econ View based in Washington, D.C.
What would Japan's role be if there was a conflict around Taiwan, and to kind of what degree, given that there are some restraints because of Japan's constitution?
Japan's response would probably be subordinated to what U.S. expectations and what U.S. interests are in the first one, just because there's a United States military presence in Okinawa first and foremost. But at the second point, Okinawa is going to be at the front lines of a Taiwan contingency should one occur. So at the same time, local government Okinawa officials, like mainly the governor Denny Tamaki, should one happen during his tenure, it will be up to him to decide what is in the best interest of the Okinawa populace in the immediate term.
And can you talk a little bit about the difference between, this government's position about a response to a Taiwan contingency, but then what the people in Japan are actually feeling about a potential war in the region?
China is now seen more as a national security challenge to Japanese people and ordinary Japanese citizens, but that's not the same thing as Japanese people being fully supportive of being involved in the Taiwan war, supporting U.S. efforts should the United States intervene in some way, shape, or form. There was a poll, I believe, published by the Asahi Shimbun in May, and it said that 70 or 80% of the Japanese people who were respondents were quite reluctant to get involved into a Taiwan contingency.
How has support over greater defense posturing in terms of Japan, how has that kind of changed in light of these new threats and kind of the changing security environment in Asia?
From a Japanese political elite leadership standpoint, I think North Korea is much more of an immediate threat just because we don't entirely know when North Korea will launch another ICBM. China, I think, is more of the long game here from a Japanese perspective, because China is really expanding its military footprint all around, and it's not particular to Japan. Other countries notice that too, like South Korea, the Philippines, of course, even Southeast Asia. But in terms of actual defense modernization, plans for Japan, what they're trying to do is work more closely with like-minded partners, such as the United States, of course, the Philippines, South Korea, Australia, doing a lot more military-related dialogues from a more domestic-related case.
That was Eleanor Shiori Hughes, a security analyst for Econ View, speaking to our reporter Jaime Ocon from Washington, D.C.